Hey guys, what's going on? So here we are with episode number 2 of the Norwich career mode. Now, what I've done off screen is I have set up, some scouting instructions and everything to get to what I like. I was going to do youth staff and stuff, but I'm wanting to wait in here. I'm contemplating, I'm going to go ahead and sign this guy, by the way. But I'm contemplating calling in a future star, or whatever it's called, where you automatically get a high potential player. Let's see what it's exactly called. Scout Future Star, or whatever it is. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. The Scout Future Star. Now, I'm considering going ahead and getting that in, but I want to wait until there's some opinions thrown around and I think about it more clearly. But I'm just putting that out there. Now, today we're going to be going up against Ajax, and we're going to have our second team, everybody except for the goalkeeper, Ruddy. Actually, I am going to go ahead and put in Rudd, the 24-year-old backup. Well, that was clutch. You guys just accidentally discard the changes. But anyway, and also in today's episode, when we talk about the MLS, try to just figure out, just voice my opinions about it and why I don't even watch it. It's kind of sad, really. But we're gonna go ahead and start this. I'm gonna go ahead and start talking and jump right into it at the beginning of this game. So see you then. All right, here we are at the about to play the game. We're going up against Ajax, obviously the Netherlands side, here in the Champions Trophy preseason tournament. And then obviously we're Norwich. But in today's episode, I don't know how much longer. We just do like the topic episodes where I rant pretty much. I don't know how many more episodes we're going to do that. Probably not many more when we get into like the actual season. And then when we get into that, I'll probably just talk about the gameplay there. But today we're going to be talking about the MLS and the really just the messed up way we're trying to have American soccer. Now, for those people watching my videos, I'm going to be calling soccer football just because, it sounds more right to me. I personally think it should be called football, but then where would American football be? NFL. Anyway, but, in my opinion, the MLS kind of has what I would like to consider a broken system, really, where we try to play it like every other American sport, or American rendition of every sport. In which we make our kids go to college, and then we draft them and all this and that. I don't want to give away all of my topics just yet. And some people consider what the MLS does as a positive, but I'm personally not a huge fan of everything that they do. As I turn it over there. But let's go ahead and start off with the way that we treat our young talents. Our young talents, such as Julian Green, who's either 19 or 20 now. He did the smart thing. He went to Europe. He's playing over for Bayern. Actually, he might be on loan right now, but he's in Bayern. And then we had this young, great striker out of Stanford, I want to say, who's over at Werder Bremen right now, who's actually not doing bad at all. And instead of going to the draft, he's over at Werder Bremen, getting loved by the fans and really, I would hope, getting better, having positive strides in his game. But instead of, getting guys like that, we say, instead of signing them when they're 16 or 17, we say, well, go to college and we'll draft you depending on how the next 4 years of... Holy cow. I don't know how to feel about that. Lovely back heel, and then I feel like that should have been saved, but I don't know. Last game we started out down 1-0, and then we bring it back to 3-1 and win it. So hopefully we can do relatively the same thing. However, this is Ajax and not, I forgot how you said the name, from the Russian side, but we're just gonna leave it to Russian side anyway. Oh, that was terrible. Anyway, getting back to it, and instead of getting them when they're 16 or 17 and signing them to a team like the Galaxy or the Chicago Fire or the New York Red Bulls or something like that, we say, well, we'll wait, see how the next 4 years of your career go while you're at college. And we're going to let you develop a lot more slowly than what you probably would otherwise. And we're going to make you go to college, and we might draft you. We just might. We don't know, though. We might draft you depending on how it goes. That's messed up. This isn't the NFL. This isn't the NBA or even the NHL for that much. You don't draft players in soccer or football. I'm going to call it football. You don't draft players in football. What you do is you sign them while they're young and watch them turn into great talents. You get them on your B team or your A team, but sad thing is that most MLS sides are the equivalent of some major European teams, B side. Anyway, that's messed up. You don't just what you're doing there by making them go to college and develop a lot more slowly than what they probably would otherwise is you're pretty much declining them, rejecting them the opportunity to become professionals and taking down the percent of them being good and becoming great players. You're taking that percent down from like 50% to like 5% because you're putting them into a massive pool of players. You're putting them to a massive pool of players that's in the college scene right now and saying, well, we'll pick out of those. No, that's not a very smart thing to do. I think you should sign them while they're young, develop them, and then promote them to your first team side, like everyone else in the world does. Or we can just be stupid and be different and draft them. That's rather dumb, in my opinion. This isn't, FIFA Ultimate Team, what's it called? Champions Draft or something like that. No, what you do is you sign them while they're young, like I said, like the rest of the, wow, that didn't go in. You're serious? You're actually serious? He just got robbed. Naismith just got robbed. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying is you don't just reject some kid's possible future and just kind of procrastinate about this kid's future. You're just kind of like, well, we'll see how you turn out. It's just this kid probably dreamed of like getting signed when he's like 15 or 16 and then getting good and eventually getting promoted to the first team. He didn't think, oh, here, let me go to Stanford or let me go to some university and play. That's not the way I look at football. I look at football as the way that you get signed on when you're young, like I've said probably 20 times now. And then you have a chance at making the team. I mean, that's just how it goes, in my opinion. And then there's the draft. I know I've already touched on this, obviously, talking about college and everything. But there's a draft in football? Really? Do we need it? No. Is it? I mean, I don't even know how many rounds there are in it. The fact that there's a draft, though, is disgusting. Nobody in the rest of the world has a draft. And that's not even the biggest issue. I think the biggest issue is our transfer system, which isn't even a transfer system. It's messed up. What you pretty much do in the MLS when you want a player and want to get rid of one of yours for him, you trade. You trade? Are you serious? You trade in soccer or football, whatever you want to call it? You're gonna trade? Do you think Real Madrid traded for Cristiano Ronaldo from Manchester United? I mean, we're starting to get into transfers by bringing in some of the older legends such as Pirlo and Stevie G, Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba. We are making transfers for those guys for like $300,000. We're making transfers for them. But I just. And that's another thing, never mind, I'm trying to get back to the trading thing. Like I said, this isn't basketball, this isn't hockey, this isn't the NFL, this is soccer. We can't just treat football soccer, you know, whatever. We can't just treat it like we do the metric system. We can't just make it our way, change it to feet and everything, and then be like, oh, well, then we'll just do it our way, and it'll be successful. And then the rest of the world will do it as well. No, that's not what I meant to say by that, but no, it's just, I don't like that at all. I don't really follow the MLS, but I have the United States football team, the national team. You know, I follow them on the Bleacher Report app, and I didn't know about this, and then they were talking about someone who's on the national team might be traded to like Chivas USA or whatever their team was. And I thought, wait, there's trade, there's trade, there's really trade, and I was saddened to hear this. It's like you hear about people like throwing in a young kid and then like $1 million quid or dollars or whatever you want, you know, currency for that country, but you never hear about them straight up trading. It's like that's not even heard of. In fact, you know, Europeans laugh at people trying to think that there can just be a straight up swap or a trade. Like that's disgusting anyway. And then getting back to that, or getting past that, we have a playoff system. Yep, we have a playoff system in soccer. We have an East and a West conference, conferences, just like they do in the BPL, right? No, we have conferences. We have the East versus the West, and then like they do in the rest of them, there's like a 1 through 8 seed or whatever, and then, you know, it's just like playoffs in every other American sport. There shouldn't be, no, it should be the top, you know, it should just be off of your regular season performance like they do in the BPL. However many points you score and like the goal differences and everything. It shouldn't, you know, the BPL never came down to a playoff system. They never said, okay, Norwich, you finished 7th, but you're in like the Southern Division of, I don't even know where Norwich is, just to be 110% honest with you. But it's like, no, the Liga BBVA, it's like, oh, you're on the western side of Spain, so you can get into this playoff system and possibly win the Liga BBVA title. No. In the Serie A, they're like, okay, so you're in the southern tip of Italy, you're the 8th seed there. It's like, no, because it sounds dumb. Like in basketball, that's perfectly fine. You know, we kind of made the rules for that. It's perfectly fine to have a playoff system in basketball. But it's disgusting to have a playoff system in soccer or football in the MLS. Like, that's stupid. And then it's like, I don't, and then there's the conferences and the playoff system. But what I do like is that we're trying to make strides towards European improvement. Like, we're getting guys from Europe, and then we're making teams available for European greats to come in and manage. It's like David Beckham will be managing a team in Miami, and what I like what he's doing, he's going to players like Piquez, even though Piquez is only like 28. He's like, well, in a couple of years, 2016, or when's it come around, 2018, I think. When the team comes around, you'll probably be like 31 by then. Would you like to join the team? Would you like to join the team at that point in your career? He's like, Piquez is like seriously thinking about it. And he plays for Barcelona and he's thinking about coming to the MLS. Why? Not because the MLS shows opportunity, but because there's David Beckham saying, hey, come play for me. It's like, who wouldn't? And the sad part is that we're waiting so long to get these players. We're waiting to get Pirlo until he's 38. We're waiting to get Stevie G until he's 35. And, you know, Frank Lampard, I think he's 36 now, also playing on NYFC. I'm not making any substitutions. But it's like we're waiting. So we probably could have got Stevie G when he was, you know, 32. We probably could have got, I mean, I don't know, Pirlo probably wouldn't have wanted to come last year because he was kind of too busy in the Champions League. But that was terrible. We're going to lose this one. Let's go ahead and make some last-minute substitutions. I forgot all about it. But just I'm not really. It's kind of disappointing to see that this is, you know, what we think football should be played like. It's kind of disgraceful to the BPL. It's like pretty much saying, well, the way you do it's completely wrong, even though it's been the correct way for the past only, you know, only the originals know how many years. You know, we look, instead of looking at the BPL influences or the Serie A or the Liga BBVA influences, we're looking at the NBA influences and the NFL influences. And when it comes to the playoff system and drafting and free agency and stuff like that, it's like that's not the way soccer should be played. Not at all.
They've gone up to take the throw well up the field, keep the pressure on.
And, you know, what I think the MLS should do, I mean, they're not going to just up and change the playoff system. They obviously think that that's the way to go. But, what I think they should do is go to teams like, we should go after players such as, like, Adnan Uzaji, who's supposed to be one of the next great players. He's a wing player for United. United aren't necessarily showing the most hopes in him. First off, they loaned him out to Dortmund. You know, I thought that was very questionable. And it's pretty obvious to see that, you know, and then he's not having the greatest start, you know, in the BPL. And then it's just, I mean, but I was able to at least express my opinion at least a little bit. We're not going after young players. We're not signing them. It's like we shun away good young American players, and we're pushing them into college, this much bigger pool of other players. And instead of judging them on what they could become, we're judging them like they do in the NFL or the NBA. It's like, how well did they already do? We're not judging these young kids off of their potential. We're judging them off, well, last year you had about 16 goals. I don't know about that. I mean, I obviously don't know how college soccer works, but you know, I think it's just a little silly the way we do it. Anyway, at least that topic was able to take up the entire video, and I was able to talk about it a little bit. This video was probably a tad boring. Kind of went by a little bit quicker than what I thought it would, but anyway. After I get done with this training, I'll go ahead and do a little bit of a sign off here. But, as always, I desperately hope that you enjoyed this video, because the first one, in my opinion, was a success. I think it was very successful. I thought it was, you know, I thought it was rather good. I enjoyed editing it, making it look pretty cool, and had some stuff happen. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did like it, obviously leave a like. And also, come back tomorrow or later today, whenever, and see episode number 3, because, you know, based off how episode 1 did, there's definitely going to be an episode 3. But anyway, like I said earlier, hope you enjoyed, and then come back later and leave a like, subscribe, you know, everything everybody else already says, and